Hi everyone and welcome to Priority Holder, and today we'll be playing Blue-Green Collected Company Merfolk in the Explorer format. Now you may be asking yourself, why would you want to play Blue-Green Merfolk? Well, I've been rare drafting my way through Dominaria United and got 4 copies of Vodalian Hexcatcher and thought it's time to play Merfolk. That's basically it. Hexcatcher is a 2-mana 1/1 flash that gives other Merfolk +1/+1. And we could sacrifice a Merfolk to counter target non-creature spell unless its controller plays 1. So, incredibly strong. The flash lets you do a lot of tricks, blow people out in combat, and the countering ability is incredibly relevant. So, it really ups the strength in this format because previously there was only this Lord, Merfolk Mistbinder. So now, with both of them, we get a lot more redundancy of that effect. Combine those with Collected Company, which is a 4-mana green instant, lets us look at the top 6 and put 2 creature cards with converted mana costs 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. So it's a powerful card that lets you get some card and mana advantage. And the way this deck is our only non-creature spells are Collected Company. So as built, we have 35 creatures. Part of the trick I like to do for Collected Company decks is to replace some lands, for blue Collected Company decks, is to replace some lands and play some number of Glasspool Mimic. And this requires something in play. So like Collected Company with this on an empty board is not great. It has to have something already in play, but it just lets us copy something. So if we copy a Lord, it could functionally give us even more than just 8 copies. And Deeproot Elite is like an honorary Merfolk Lord for us. It lets us place counters every time anytime Merfolk enters the battlefield under our control. And so it's not as instant and universal as these, but it has a little bit more persistent effect. The other notable ones are Silvergill Adept, which in this deck is basically 2-mana, 2/1 draw a card. And another one I've been really impressed with is Merfolk Trickster. 2-mana, 2/2 flash. When it enters battlefield, you get to tap a creature and make it lose all of its abilities until end of turn. So there's just a lot of things you can do with that ability right there. And then some 1-mana creatures just to have aggressive starts. And yeah, that's the deck. And let's see how it does in some games. Alright, looks like a great hand for game 1. So we go ahead and lead with the green pathway and cast Kumena's Speaker. Where we go from here. Swamp. Let's see, Thoughtseize? Nope. Stitcher Supplier. Okay, so it could be like Greasefang. We see a Liliana hit the bin there. Alright, so we play an untapped Breeding Pool. And since we have an island, Kumena's Speaker now gets +1/+1, so it's a 2/2. And figure it's a good time to play Silvergill Adept. It just draws us a card, gives us more options. Next turn, it's already looking like we can double spell, so that's already feeling nice. Opponent plays Triumph and passes. Collected Company is real nice. We could guarantee it next turn by playing Glasspool tapped. So, just depends, but go ahead and shock in the next land. Attack, see how they block. Strangely, they don't block with Stitcher Supplier. Maybe they're hoping to hold it to like bring back a Greasefang from the graveyard. I don't understand the no block there. But with Hexcatcher out, they're not going to resolve any non-creature spells we don't want them to. So I'm figuring out the Hexcatcher, and then they just concede. So on to the next one. Another good hand. What a fast and furious game 1 that was. We have another Kumena's Speaker start. That feels great. Now, I make a mistake here because I'm still new to Merfolk. I don't play a Merfolk to give Kumena's Speaker its boost. For some reason, I was locked in on thinking it only worked with islands. And it was right there where I realized, oh, should have done that pre-combat. So Island followed by Fabled Passage is curious. It could be like Control, except we see them fetch up another island. Now I didn't realize it in the game, but now in retrospect it makes a lot of sense that we're playing against Mill, and that the Fabled Passages are there for the Ruin Crabs. But opponent's already at 13, and they hit us with Tasha's Hideous Laughter. We could counter that. Like, it will mill a lot from us since we're a low curve deck, but we just don't care about that. And was crunching some numbers and realized the opponent's actually just dead here. So we play the Jade Bearer. We get a trigger off Deeproot Elite, trigger off Jade Bearer. So that's 9 power. We play another Lord, and then that's 12 power, and then an extra counter makes it exactly 13. Is this deck just easy mode or what? I mean, my goodness. We're not giving people any chance. Alright, tapped gain land is curious. It makes you think either someone's on a budget or it's a life gain theme. But we have another Kumena speaker. A great turn 1 for us. There it is, Trelasara. They're our life gain deck. But by playing Merfolk, we can attack him with the 3/3, so just they won't even block at all. They probably wouldn't have blocked even if ours was a 2/2, but decided to get the Lord out there just to really discourage the block. So they gain a life, they get the Scry, and they don't attack. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Decide to just play Jade Bearer because it boosts Kumena's speaker above the Trelasara. We could have maybe tried to make our Lord a 3/3 and attack him with both, but it just seemed risky, even though we do have the Merfolk Trickster to really stop any shenanigans they might do. And so decided to just hold up Merfolk Trickster here. Merfolk Trickster not only taps him down, but makes the creature lose all abilities until end of turn. And so they play a Soul Sister, a life gain creature. And so decide to take this opportunity to tap down the biggest creature and deny them the life gain triggers. So like they'll gain the life, but they won't get all the counters and stuff. Collected Company, wow. Oh my goodness, what an amazing draw. And so there is an argument to doing it pre-combat, because if we hit a Trickster or a Glasspool Mimic, we can tap down their blocker and just kill them. But what a selection, wow. So we have Hexcatcher, which we're definitely going to take, and we have Glasspool, which we can then use to copy a Lord. And so we smack them for a lot. It would have been lethal if we did it pre-combat, so that's something important to pay attention to in this deck. And opponent's just mega dead. They're playing it out, but they can't stop us. They're donezo. I mean, this deck is just lightning fast. Way fun, just annihilating people. Alright, so Snow-Covered Island, to see what our opponent's playing. We could start with our unblockable creature. Supreme Phantom, so the gig's up. They're a Spirits deck. Now, fortunate we don't have any lands at the moment. And considering Deeproot, wonder if it should have been a Silvergill Adept to try and get that land. Good, Deeproot lets us put counters out, so it's tough. Curious Obsession on the Supreme Phantom's not great because we will not really be stopping that. Pass to us. Thankfully we draw a land. So go ahead and play Jade Bearer. And this is going to put 2 counters, one from Deeproot, one from Jade Bearer. Just trying to spread things out. They have a lot, they have some instant speed tricks they could try and ambush us with. Shock in the land, and then attack here. And they do they pass right through, so we try to throw out Hexcatcher here to smash in for more damage. But they have an answer, they have a counter spell. That's real tough. We could have really used that, and we would have been able to make their life really difficult with the Hexcatcher in play. So that was maybe too aggressive on my part, like trying to get all the extra attack value, when I maybe should have tried to sneak it in when they were tapped out. But you could see things unraveling now. We're getting smacked for 6. They're drawing a card, and they have a massive blocker in play. Not only that, but we've seen they have a lot of counters and interaction. And so they're definitely winning the race thus far. So once again, full on aggro mindset. Play the Merfolk Trickster, attempt to tap down the Phantom and get the attackers through. Waiting, hoping, but they have the rattle chains for the temporary hexproof. So now they have plenty of blockers, and they have plenty of attackers to kill us on the crackback. So this one, I'm not sure if we could have won, but I don't know if it was played very optimally. But on to the next one. All right, this hand's looking pretty good. I think we've been able to have turn 1 Kumena Speaker 4 out of 5 games, so that's the kind of luck you need with this deck. Not necessarily need, but it's the kind of deck you want. Sorry, kind of luck you want. Alright, so an untapped forest from the opponent. No Llanowar elves or anything like that. So we go ahead and play the Deeproot Elite. It's going to pay us off most in the long run. Okay, we have a land. It is tapped, unfortunately. Deeproot's pretty nice here because, I mean, with multiple of them out, it's going to get wild for us soon. So opponent's going to be in trouble if they don't do anything. Play the tap land and pass. So they play an island and pass back to us. Very curious about what they're doing. But we draw an untapped land, which is incredibly clutch here, because that unlocks Collected Company. We thought we were another turn away from that with our Glasspool, but it makes any attacks right here like incredibly safe, because we can Collected Company into some stuff, and we're guaranteed to get some amount of counters from our double Deeproot Elites. So we just attack in. And I let the damage just go through this time, having been a little scarred from the Spirits game. But we can tell now that it's a flash deck, so the kind of deck that plays like the creatures that counter spells and stuff like that. They hold up mana on your turn. So since they're tapped out of blue, I take the opportunity to play CoCo right now. And wow, we are just going wild with Deeproot Elites. So we just choose to put a bunch of counters and everything. And that's it. So we just annihilated people. Alright, so that's blue-green Collected Company Merfolk, and wow, was that deck impressive. I mean, that was the shortest constructed gameplay I've ever filmed thus far. I mean, we were just killing people so fast. Was really impressed with the Lords. Hexcatcher's incredible. Was also very impressed with Merfolk Trickster, just tapping down blockers. And anyway, that's often something we want to copy with our Glasspool Mimic. Collected Company was amazing as always, and just the aggressive 1-mana creatures that are effectively 2 power were really nice as well. But I think I understand the hype now. Why everyone, why Merfolk has such a cult following, because boy, was that fun. I think I'm sold as someone who loves hyper aggressive decks. So but yeah, let me know in the comments what's your favorite Merfolk. And anyway, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.